WKRC.org. There have been more than 43 million unpaid family caregivers in the United States during the last year. Most are caring for aging parents, and sometimes lost in all of that care for others is care for yourself. Gery Deer is the founder and co-host of the podcast Old Nerd in the Gym Fitness, and he deals with this topic a lot. Gery joins us now. Gery and I, many moons ago, got together to talk about something else. When he's a whip master, like this kind of whip.
Bull whips.
Bull whip.
So get that clear. It's,
totally different.
Indiana Jones style stuff.
Different kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the reason really you got to this place and had this realization in your life is because of what you went through yourself. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, originally ran into it with my mother. She had Alzheimer's and she started to decline pretty rapidly, and we ended up having to care for her at home. So at that point we had a lot of help. We had my cousin moved into the house with my dad and helped me, and we were there, all the time. I was spending 50-60 hours a week there doing that. And that was full-time care. And you couldn't afford to have people to come in. We had some resources, hospice later on, things like that. But it's an all-encompassing job. You don't realize how much there is to it. And what ends up happening later on is my mother passed away, and then my dad has Parkinson's. He started to get sick. So there's my dad on the screen now.
And you're looking after him.
Doing our workouts. And this sort of started, I was blogging about my own health problems that I was dealing with, and I decided, all right, something's got to give. This was after my mom. And by the time I got to my dad, I was doing better. I'd lost a lot of weight. I became an endurance cyclist, doing all this crazy stuff. So his insurance ran out, and where they would only do so much physical therapy, and then you're just stuck unless some new problem came about. So I started taking him to the gym with me. Yeah. And this is, farm guy, doesn't go to the gym, never owned a pair of sneakers. It was really a challenge for him. But now people started coming up and asking me questions. Hey, can you show me how to do that for my mom? I'm not a certified trainer or anything, and I realize a lot of that stuff is just buy the thing and get the certificate. There's not a lot of education, but there are a lot of better qualified people out there. But for your own family, you start letting yourself go, and you put them first all the time. So we started building this podcast. My co-host Julie Barth is also my producer. We decided we have a marketing company, and we thought, why don't we do a podcast about this? People can listen about it, and I started blogging about it, and then pretty soon now it's a podcast, a video, and all this together. It's all free. People can, hopefully we're helping people.
Have you been surprised by the response? And the reason I ask is obviously there's a lot of people out there in similar situations, but I think for a lot of people, and it sounds like you went through this too, there's almost a guilt at the idea that I should be going to do something for myself. There's no time for that. I got to take care of mom or dad.
Caregiver guilt is huge. We have a whole podcast on that because it's really just if you're off doing that, it's one of the things that I try to encourage people to get your family member involved with what you're doing if you can, if they're physically able, because that diminishes some of that guilt. But if you go off to do something for yourself, even take respite care, anything like that you can get, you still have this, I should be doing this for dad, and did he get the food today, or did the Meals on Wheels come on time, what's going on your way, and we still have to work. You can't, a lot of people go completely bankrupt, lose their homes, lose their jobs, lose so much. I'm fortunate I work for myself, so I can adjust to somewhat, but you still live at a much lower financial level, so all that stress starts building up, and then you realize, but people, to your original question, people call up, and they'll say, hey, I've been dealing this with my mom for years, and I don't know where to go with this, and I just realized I have this heart problem. And we find out, I don't know what the actual figures are, but we find out that people have a lot worse health problems in some situations than the person they're caring for.
Right, or that they even realize that they
don't even know.
In a lot of cases,
because you're just not aware of it.
Well, so we're running out of time. Just very quickly, because you mentioned you're not certified this and certified that. I assume you just sort of take this as this is a good place to get in community with people who are in a similar situation.
Yeah, it's
is that
a
fair
resource.
Way to describe it?
Yeah, go to the podcast. It's oldnerdinthegym.com. You can look at the podcast, read the stuff. We bring experts on to talk about whatever their particular expertise is. And I have had to learn all of this stuff. I mean, I learned how to train people and learn how to do all this, but it's primarily to give people a resource so they understand you're not by yourself out there. There's millions of us out there.
Gery, it's great talking to you.
You too.
Good to see you, pal. It's